This is a video I meant to do a long time ago. There are a lot of reasons that I hadn't done it until now. I'm only actually doing it now because it's on the list, and there's only 2 more after this, and they kind of have to go after this one. And I have been thinking about it constantly for over a year on what to actually talk about, how in depth to go, and I never really did make up my mind. So basically I'm just gonna talk to the camera for a while, probably a long while, and find this story in the edit. Oh. No one ever enters the Western States draw assuming that they'll get picked. 6.5% chance of having my name drawn, and they chose me. Even though when the draw happened, I was completely injured. I was still trying to get over a stress fracture. My plantar fasciitis was bugging me. There's no way I wasn't going to do Western States. I have what my physiotherapists refer to as a double crush between my sciatica and any number of other symptoms that they keep seeing. I will get pain in my hip that will radiate down through my legs. It seems to have a mind of its own, and I can't figure out what to do to keep it away, and it has been progressively getting worse over the last decade. I've seen it pop up a number of times since I've started running, and it would usually go away and I'd be able to get back to training just fine. And we're going to do all we can now that we're healthy and not injured to get to the starting line with confidence. But leading up to Western States, it was more present than it's ever been. Tried to keep going with training, but essentially I could only do a long run every other week and a few little runs here and there, and I never really did get a lot of mileage in. And so the closer it got to race day, I just kept focusing on the fact that it would be entirely a mental race for me. My fitness alone wouldn't get me through this race.
And I'm not getting much better between now and Western States, so I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do. I think I'm prepared, relatively mentally. It's just my body it's still struggling ever since the death race, and so I need to... I need even more mental strength than I already have to be able to get through it.
So I kept that in mind while I did train and while I was going through the chronic pain, and just really started preparing myself mentally for everything that I would have to endure over that 100-mile course. And I believed I was ready for the challenge.
It's going to be a good weekend. My glute is bugging me a lot. Same with my lower back. I don't know, my ankle's kind of bugging me, but I know I was changing my gait because of the glutes, so it was bugging me a lot today as well, but everything kind of started to calm down. It seems like things are going well in that respect. I mean, 2 days of driving and then a day of walking around. We'll see how things are after that, because then it's race day, so...
As we drew closer and closer reality of it all started to weigh in. My stomach was in my throat. Ultimately, what's going to happen is going to happen, and I'm going to give it my best shot. And I just know that DNF is lingering there, but I don't want it so bad. Like, that's what my most fearful thing about all of this is, that I won't be able to finish the race in under 30 hours. And I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to do everything I can to get that buckle. I want to be here. I want to be here with everyone else that's running it. I want to be here to see how they do in person, and I want to be on that course with them. I want to toe the line with them. Like, it's just, I am going to give this my all. And it's 2:30. Funny thing is, too, I went to bed with a bit more pain than I have in a few days. And I woke up with pain like I did before Marshall, and had a shower, walking around. It's all calmed down. Still a little bit of pain, but just as minor as it's been in the last few days, which is all I could have asked for anyway, so doing well. I was nervous the whole drive down to the start line, but excited at the same time, and looking forward to seeing what I could actually do. When that clock hit 0 and that race actually began, I knew I had to get down to business, and I was focused. Before I hit 30 miles, I thought my race was going to be done. I was weak, I was limping a little, and I was disappointed that I couldn't last any longer. Then some of the medical team came by and gave me an S-cap, and I was good to go. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I got to cruise that race with a lot of people, and there were a number of points in the race where I was touch and go. You know, I had to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and find another gear just to push on and keep going. And then there were sections where I was just having the time of my life. And then there was a downhill section just before halfway, leading down in the creek, El Dorado Creek, I think. And my foot just was done. I was limping. I was in a lot of pain. Every footfall, my right foot was sending pain right through me. So I took my time. Some of the medical team caught up with me, and they called ahead and made sure that people down in the aid station were ready for me when I got there. And when I did, I thought my race was done. But the guy there even said that I had to get back up the hill to the next aid station so that I could actually drop. So they patched up my foot a little, taped it up, and gave me some Tylenol and sent me out the door. And it didn't take long. As I was heading back up that hill, it was feeling better every step, and it became runnable again. When I got to Michigan Bluff, my crew was ready for me, and we just took off. Found out shortly after that I was actually behind the projected 30-hour cutoff, and we just booked it. We ended up passing a lot of people in the next 25 miles. And then we got to Rocky Chucky near, and I was feeling still good. I was still raring to go. I was looking forward to getting this race over with. Everything was actually going well. I was so focused mentally. I was ready to. I wanted that belt buckle. I thought I was going to get that belt buckle. I knew I was going to get that buckle. And it was the only thing that drove me. I needed to finish that race. And then we crossed the river at Rocky Chucky. And when I came out at Rocky Chucky Far, my foot was way worse than it was before, and I couldn't even step on most of my toes. I could only use like a little bit of the ball of my foot. I was limping up to Green Gate, the next aid station. And when we got there, it was about a half hour before the cutoff. And I had to sit down. I couldn't walk anymore. And knowing how far we still had to go, and we only had 6 hours to do it, and how much we had come through. And the sun was coming up. It had been 24 hours. And I was just in too much pain. I couldn't keep going. I sat there for a half hour trying to stand here and there, but I just couldn't. And then finally the aid station leader came over and asked if I was going to keep going or not, and I had to tell him I was dropping. It hit me really hard. I lost it for a while there. And then I started realizing what I had just done. I ran 80 miles in 24 hours. I was actually kind of proud at how far I got. I found the silver lining. As much as I wanted that belt buckle, as much as I wanted that finish, I couldn't keep going. So we went to the finish line, caught up with a few friends, and watched one of them finish. And then a day or two later, we took off, went home. Foot swelled up. I was limping for many days. They had me in a walking boot. And it was one hell of a ride. I enjoyed it so much. But that's not where the story ends. I'm part of a running group online that blogs about their running experiences, races and training. And when I finally got around to uploading my post about the race and about everything that happened there, I was still pretty proud of what I had done. And everybody that I knew that was on that site and was commenting was being positive and helpful and saying really great things. And then a couple days after it was up, I got one question from someone. And it was pretty minor. I didn't know who the person was. It was them asking how I got into Western States, whether it was through the draw or some other means. And I replied to them. And then they replied back asking if I still would have done it. And I was getting ready to reply, and then another person commented. And then another person, and another person. And the comments just kept coming and coming. And people were pissed off that I had ran that race in the condition that I was in. And then my friends came to my defense, and that post just took off, and it became a war zone. That post and those comments ruined that race for me. It doesn't sit right anymore. I didn't race again for another 17 months. And I haven't raced since that race. And races in general just don't interest me like they do, or like they did. I'd found this home, comfortable place in the running community, and it just kind of felt like it turned its back on me. And ever since, I've had little interest to run in an organized event in a group setting at all. And that's about it. That was my Western States experience. So I haven't had interest in doing this video. I just don't care to tell people about what happened. You probably won't hear me talk about it again. Chances are this is the last time you'll hear me talk about this. When you think back on a race, you don't relive the pain itself. You might remember that you were in a lot of pain, but you don't relive it. And you can actually relive the joy and elation from finishing a tough race. If you think about it, it'll come back and it'll bring a smile to your face.